Hello, this is Patrick Devine with SQL Final for Ed Cawthorn's class. So our final was to learn how to use a non-tabular NoSQL database and just basically to play around with that to get some exposure to something new and something that's kind of popular and on the rise actually. So what a NoSQL database is, or a non-tabular database, they provide storage and retrieval of data that's used basically in means other than tabular relations that are used in relational databases. This was really easy to set up. I basically just had to give an email address and sign in, no credit card, nothing, and I was able to use some of the free software, which I know SQL offers as well. So basically, you create these things called clusters. And what a cluster is, essentially, it's just a collection of collections, and that's actually what they're called. So click here on, I use hotel records because it's something that I knew I could come up with a lot of generic columns of different data types to use, which in turn ended up not mattering, but that's just how my thinking was because I've been using SQL. So I wanted to get experience with all the different data types and entering them, which actually you can do in any of the collections on the fly. Okay, so let's go to collections. As you can see here, I have created the database named Hotel Records, and this is my cluster, which is all my collections: salary, room service, monthly revenue, departments, date of hire, and check-ins. So to use this, it's pretty basic. Say like this is my departments collection. So I don't know if I did it opposite, but I don't think it really matters actually. When you're querying how you entered them. So I gave a name and a department along with them. Different departments. I used housekeeping, management, custodian, kitchen, billing, front desk. I used all of these in the same collection of departments, and I just put specific names with each department. So the date of hire, similarly, I put the names and the date that they were hired. As you can see, I got some practice with these. So let's like do a quick test to show how you insert a document. So to insert a document, while you're in the collection that you want to add it to, you click insert document and this box pops up. What's so cool is on the fly, you can actually click the data type that you're going to be entering. So no predefined schema. You don't need to pre-plan this database the way you would in SQL on the fly. If you need to enter a different data type into a certain collection, it's no problem. So here we're gonna use a string, and we'll just enter a random name here. Let's say Mike Sullivan, and he'll be in the kitchen. Bam. It's in your database. The date of hire, like I said, I showed you this before. I did the same thing, but when I inserted the document, I'd put a name and then I would select date. In doing this, it would only select the date format when I entered. So yeah, this has been really cool to play around with. There's a way you can query using this bar right here. So it's got its own syntax, but it's fairly simple. You use just like this example, use the curly braces and the quotations. So an example of a query would be db.hotelrecords.find, and then inside the parentheses, and I would leave parentheses and curly braces at the end. This is the same thing as using the select star statement in SQL. It's going to pull up everything. Another one you'd be db.hotelrecord.find. You'd use parentheses and curly braces. Now, this is like using the where clause. You put a title, and then you put a colon in whatever the value is equal to. So if you put name and then a specific name and for parentheses next to it with a colon in the middle inside the curly braces at the end of that statement, it's going to pull up that data of where the name equals Sarah. So yeah, the queries are done in the search bar, and 6 minutes, so I still got some time. Okay. Yeah, one of the things that's so cool about being able to throw different data in on the fly and still have your queries work. In SQL, if you wanna manipulate number data, with math functions like multiply, divide, the entire schema has to be numbers, and it has to be predefined. So you can't change that or add anything different to that column on the fly, which is kind of a pain, because if you need to update something in SQL, you have to add that column, and then you have to adjust the entire schema over, which can take a lot of time if the database is really big. So yeah, this offers a lot of really cool things. Adjustments can be made to these databases in real time without having to shut them down, which is, I think, a big selling point and why these are gaining a lot of popularity. Besides the fact they're fairly easy to use and you can use cheap computers to maintain them. You don't need these super expensive high processing powers. You can use, a few medium computers with different servers. SQL is working on one server while this will spread out among, 3 or more. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits to this. I definitely, the more I research, the more interesting this becomes. So up here we have other things we can use. Metrics is pretty cool. What the metrics does is it tracks database activities such as operations per unit of time. So here you can see like where I've entered or inserted. It shows in real time, updated, what's been done to the system. Now, another cool feature, you have to pay and have the premium, version or updated, upgraded version of Mongo, but you can do something called a restore history in the backup. So what this does is you can set it to either an hour, a day, a month. You can specify the amount of time, and every hour or whatever, it'll take snapshots of your database and save them as a backup. So you have, like it says right here, continuous backup. Yeah, they have a lot of really cool features in this program. But what I think is that SQL has just been around for so long, it's withstood the test of time. A lot of people know SQL, and it's not that difficult to learn. So it's a valuable certification as far as I'm concerned, and as far as what I've been told. But these are extremely interesting, and they're easy to set up, easy to use, cheap to maintain. And that's about all I've got so far working with this program. But I've entered a room service menu here, with prices and dishes. Like I put calamari, which I don't even know what that is, but 30, caviar 55. Now I didn't put cents or anything else in this because I was assuming that to query upon this, that all the data would need to be numbers or it wouldn't work. But I guess that's not how this works. So, you know, it's really great for on the fly. If you don't have a predetermined, planned out database and you're not exactly sure the condition of the structure of the data you're going to get, you know, you can structure this on the fly. You can enter the data on the fly, different data types. And I think that was the main point of what we were supposed to learn from this. So I'm going to wrap this video up and get it submitted.